Tonight on News 5 Live, a spirited public consultation on Waterloo's planned Port of Belize expansion. The Christian Workers Union meets with DFC following the termination of 3 employees. And the Minister of Home Affairs discusses Elmer Naz's acquittal. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
To DigiTV. Step into the world of digital entertainment. DigiTV gives you access to 100+ channels on your TV or your mobile device at unbeatable prices. Take your shows with you wherever you go. It's a new level of freedom. Enjoy your favorite entertainment, sports, family, Latin, and local channels. No more fighting for the TV remote. You can access whenever you want from 2 devices at the same time. DigiTV is for everyone. And with the fastest fiber and mobile networks in the country, you are guaranteed to have the best experience ever. There's no installation required. Sign up for the Max package for only $40 monthly and get the first 2 months for just $30. For a limited time, get 50% off a Fire Stick when you sign up. Download the DigiTV app from the Android or Apple stores. Just WhatsApp us at 608-8888 to sign up. It's that easy. Watch, experience, enjoy DigiTV today.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Carnival is back on the streets again, and the best seat in the house is right here on Channel 5. Tune in on Saturday, September 3rd at 1 p.m. to catch our coverage featuring all things Carnival, from the King and Queen competition to mass camps to Juve, and leading up to this year's Road March. We'll bring you the sights and sounds of this year's Carnival live on Channel 5 and streamed on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss Carnival Road March 2022, live on 5.
Reusable plastics. Did you know that until we find an alternative for plastic and all its uses, we will continue to need plastics, such as in the health sector? Plastic becomes a huge problem for Belize when it becomes waste and is improperly disposed of. When it is thrown on the side of the road and in our rivers and seas, it's eaten by animals and in turn by people, and it becomes an environmental and health issue. It costs us money for disposal, filling up dumps and landfills, and paying for associated healthcare. So what can you do? Choose to refuse single-use plastics is step 1. Step 2, instead, use the plastics that were meant to be reused, like coffee cups, water bottles, and food containers. We're not talking about buying a $1 bottle of water. I mean, you can, but how long will that last you? Reusable plastics keep plastics out of the environment for a much longer time and are even better than other forms of plastics, like biodegradable or even compostable or bio-based plastics. By reusing, you are also saving money since you aren't rebuying the same thing over again. Think about it. How many bottles of water do you buy every week? How much does that cost compared to the cost of a reusable bottle? Imagine what you can do with the extra money. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Garantizamos contener a los pacientes que allí estamos manejando y disminuir riesgos de infecciones para el resto del hospital.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway, from Roaring Creek to Esperanza, has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, September 2nd. I am Annalena Polonio. On Thursday night at the Biltmore Plaza, dozens of residents from Port Loyola and other communities in Belize City were on hand to participate in a public consultation held to discuss the viability of Waterloo's Port of Belize expansion project. The event ran for several hours, during which concerned citizens raised a number of questions in respect of the project, particularly the planned construction of a cruise terminal at the Port of Belize compound. The discussion was led by several individuals, including Kenrick Gordon, an environmental officer with the Department of Environment, Andy Lane, Chief Executive Officer for the Port of Belize Limited, and Alan Herrera, a local environmental consultant with Nexterra. In attendance were stevedores, businessmen, politicians, and other interested parties who are also leading similar developments in the Belize District Harbor. At times, the consultations got a bit loud and testy, but never out of control. News 5's Isani Cayetano has the following report.
This is the icing of all investments, because here we're contemplating a project where there will be a massive turnaround in the port. The idea is to upgrade it to be a modern facility that is at least one of the best in the Central American region and the Caribbean region.
A public consultation on the feasibility of a proposed cruise tourism terminal in Port Loyola was held on Thursday night in Belize City. The discussion succeeded the resubmission of an environmental impact assessment that has been conducted to determine the effect of such a mammoth undertaking on the marine and terrestrial surroundings of the planned Port of Belize expansion.
One of the components that we haven't looked at very closely in the past, we probably did not stress it enough at the previous meetings we've had, is the cargo port facility. In 2005, when the EIA was produced, most of what was included in the development proposal was about the cruise tourism project. One of the things, and it's very good that I mentioned this, and I want this to stay with you, the cargo port facility was not prominently placed in that project. This project is a better project because it brings up the cargo port facility. That facility, the same facility we talked about, the same one with the trestle and the pier, the same one that can only be used right now at the present time to unload one ship. This project dramatically changes that and improves the cargo facility.
The meeting was an opportunity for proponents of the Waterloo project, including a team of consultants, to engage in an exchange of views and feedback on a proposal that has been presented to the Department of Environment.
As we stand right here, we do not necessarily see a logical or a rational alternative to expanding the Port of Belize. Belize, as a country, is going to need to continue to trade. We must preserve our commercial activity, primarily in the Port Loyola, Belize City districts. The expansion produces, the expansion that we're proposing here potentially produces the least environmentally damaging outcome of any of the alternatives.
To bolster that argument, lead consultant Alan Herrera of Nexterra, an environmental and engineering consultancy firm specializing in environmental impact assessments and biodiversity management, points to existing restrictions where cruise tourism is concerned.
Current constraints for cruise tourism: port calls in Belize City rely on tendering from deepwater anchorage. Larger ships are shoreside only berthing vessels. The tendering limits time visitors have to explore Belize and utilize services. Again, an important consideration, because when these people come ashore, they travel all over the country. If they spend more time on shore, they can go farther, and they can subscribe to protected areas. They can visit protected areas that are right now not being visited.
Present at the consultations were representatives for other competing interests, including Port Coral and Port of Magical Belize. The former is responsible for the State Bank project, which is being built 2 miles off the coast of Belize City.
There already is a project being completed, Port Coral, here in the next few months. It 100% has a causeway approved and permitted to be built from Port Coral to the Drowned Key development and from Drowned Key to the city. The entire purpose and basis of your project with needing a land-based approach for guests to disembark Oasis-class ships, and I do agree, it is safer, and come to Belize and enjoy all of the tourism here, already exists, sir. The purpose of your cruise port project has nothing to do with cruise tourism. It has to do with something else. The cargo port has had 15 years in receivership to get upgraded. It's interesting how today is when they choose to do this.
As an activist, Jose Ukespat raised the question of a better quality of life being provided to residents of Port Loyola beyond the construction of the cruise terminal itself.
We have had for the past 4 decades promises to these people of a better future with the same politicians in charge of these areas that you speak of. And today, they are still in poverty. So, what makes you any different? How can you guarantee for these young people not just jobs while your project is ongoing? How can you guarantee for our Belizeans long-term sustainability?
In responding to that concern, Dr. Dion Chamberlain of Chamberlain Consulting said the priority where job opportunities are involved will be given to residents of Port Loyola based on qualification and experience.
What we are looking at and what they asked us for was that we could guarantee, because this is a project of national importance and every single part of the country, people will be applying for jobs and entrepreneurial opportunities, that 10% be given to them as a priority. And that means that since you, Mr. Espat, comes from Caribbean shores, and a person from Port Loyola comes to apply for a job, if both you and him or her are qualified for that job, that the Port Loyola youth would get it, or person would get it over you, despite the fact that you come in on equal footing.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Port Loyola Area Representative Gilroy Usher Sr. also attended the public consultation and came forward in support of the proposed development, as well as the economic opportunities that will become available for residents of that community. His support for the cruise terminal, however, was countered by the president of the Christian Workers Union, whose contentious relationship with the management of Port of Belize Limited has resulted in a tense working environment for waterfront workers.
200% for protection of the environment, protection of the barrier reef, protection of the flora and fauna. But I also want to say that I am 500% for providing a better life for the Belizean people, particularly the residents of Port Loyola. And when I look at this project, the investors will not be allowed to go and do whatever they want. That's why we have the NIAC. The project will be monitored. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as the investors meet the requests of the environmental impact assessment, we should support that project. I support it. I, Gilroy, shall support it. You see, people, what we have to understand is that there are people with different interests. I have no axe to grind. I have no favorite cow. My only concern is the welfare of the people of Port Loyola.
Mr. Lane, since then, we have had 3 major confrontations down at the waterfront. We are presently, in fact, in a couple of days, you and I will be in court. We'll be in court, Mr. Lane, because you are, and the organization, not you personally, but Waterloo/PBL, took it upon themselves to take up a side legally with resources to prevent $1.5 million from reaching your own employees. Now, I understand that there is going to be about, I guess, I don't know what the promise is, 2,500 jobs. I guess in the future, through Waterloo PBL, we are talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars into Port Loyola and into Southside. But here we had a little chum change that because of the struggle, because of the pressure, $1.5 million came. And you know where it was going to be spent? Right there in a port. I want to hear how it is that we are going to just completely transform that energy. Because I think you would concede it is a very toxic relationship we've had. How are we going to transform that now then, miraculously? Because I cannot understand how a minister of government can get up on this microphone and say they are going to support a project 500%. I can't understand. Because it is one thing. It is one thing to say that you support this project in principle. But you would have to at least add, I support the project in principle, but you guys will have to do better with your workers. You will have to do better by the union. You would have to do that.
Consultation, notwithstanding the concerns that were raised by environmentalists and members of the general public, was by and large a mixed bag. There seems to have been a fairly equal number of persons in support of the project, as there were others who were against the development.
If man can land on the moon, why can't we forward with our port? That will create jobs. People who don't even live in port is fighting against us. Medical expenses, education, housing. Who oppose project, give us jobs. Please, thanks. We are supporting Philip.
You're hiring a lot of people and you're bringing this big business into our neighborhood. We want jobs, but we're also entrepreneurs. Like I tell you, I own my own business, right? So we are looking for opportunities to become partners in this thing as well. We don't just want to be outside the doors fighting for the crumbs. You know, we want to have seats around the table. Another person had asked, who is we? When you talk about we are going to do this and we are going to do that, who is we, right? So one of my questions is, how could we, as in local grassroots people from Port Loyola, get on these monitoring bodies that you guys will have to make sure that everything goes smooth and that the promises that you made to us will be delivered to us?
Good series of questions indeed. I wouldn't want to go back to the initial EIA, but your question was one of the issues that was considered during that deliberation in terms of the disaster risk and climate change mitigation issue, in terms of what flooding, or if there's any flooding impact would be caused as a result of the project. So what has happened is that we've asked, they presented on the risk management in terms of the modeling, right? So that is now incorporated within this EIA.
During Thursday's consultation, questions were also raised with respect of an existing cruise port policy. While we were with Tourism Minister Anthony Moller today, he was asked about this. He says that there is one, but it needs to be updated.
There's always been a cruise policy. Oh, so in fact, I wrote the first two. Personally wrote the first two cruise policies. So there has always been. Now, it had not been modernized or updated for many years. And since we've gotten in, we have changed that. So within the next few weeks, we should be taking publicly the updated and modernized cruise ship policy that we are working on currently.
Do you believe that Waterloo's EIA should have been resubmitted then after that cruise port policy was updated?
Look, there is a process for you to do any major development, and I don't care which investor it is. That person or that entity has to go through the necessary steps. Whether it is approved or denied, that is not up to me. Our role at the Belize Tourism Board and the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations is to ensure that cruise ships go to those ports or port, whatever it is, that is built in Belize. We're not responsible for the development of the port.
The months of July to October are considered as the slow season for the tourism industry in Belize. Despite efforts being made by the Ministry of Tourism and the Belize Tourism Board to attract visitors to the country during this time, the month of September almost always sees Belizeans within the diaspora returning home for the festivities. So what are the expectations for the industry in terms of tourist arrivals?
September is going into the very heart of the low season, September and October, and then we bounce off back in November for Thanksgiving weekend and then into Christmas and then the New Year. But you're right, during this time, many people from the diaspora come home, and so that helps to support the tourism industry during a slow season for international guests. We're seeing that trend towards 2019 numbers. Actually, July was an impressive month, and August was a little bit slower, but still strong enough, especially during this time. We've had significant discussions with the airlines, and they have so many crucial issues internally that the capacity into destinations have been stunted. So, for example, one airline told us over the last week that pilots don't want to fly on weekends anymore because during COVID they got close to their families, and so it's difficult to find pilots. They're going through a robust training program for pilots. We are working at a frenetic pace to ensure that we continue to build capacity. As long as we build capacity into the country, whether by land, sea or air, we will see uptake in tourism. But our goal is to ensure that we grow in a sustainable manner and we protect the natural and human resources that we have in this country for many years to come.
Coming up, CWU and DFC meet with Labor Department to address terminated employees. Details when we return.
Hello friends, this is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, I look for someone to come and help me, but no one gives me a passing thought. No one will help me. No one cares a bit what happens to me. Today there's much being said about community, which simply means we need one another if we're to make it. God has designed us to be a friend and helper to all. This is clearly seen in Genesis, where after Cain had committed the first murder by killing his brother Abel, the Lord said to him, "Where is your brother Abel?" "I don't know," he replied. "Am I my brother's keeper?" Or literally, "Am I my brother's guardian?" Yet too often we feel like the man in Psalms who in deep trouble cried out, "I looked on my right hand and beheld, but there was no man that would know me. Refuge failed me. No man cared for my soul." What is wrong with our world when we show more contempt than compassion, more anger than affection, and more revenge than reconciliation? Only recently, the New York Times carried the story of 5 teenagers in Cocoa, Florida, who were recorded by cell phone laughing as they watched 31-year-old Jamel Dunn on July the 9th drowning in the middle of a large pond and crying out for help. They responded by calling him a junkie and saying, "Ain't nobody going to help you, you dumb bitch." Then they heard him whimper, and they laughed as he went under the water and drowned. In a cold-hearted world, there is a God who cares, and He invites you to cast all your care upon Him today. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
My name is Dr. Marcelo Coy, and I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist at Belize Medical Associates. Pregnant women are at risk of getting infected with the COVID-19 virus and are at higher risk to develop severe complications and illnesses. The COVID-19 vaccine is safe to use during pregnancy. All pregnant women should get vaccinated to protect themselves and their newborn. Visit any vaccination site and get vaccinated.
Carnival is back on the streets again, and the best seat in the house is right here on Channel 5. Tune in on Saturday, September 3rd at 1 p.m. to catch our coverage featuring all things Carnival, from the King and Queen competition to mass camps to Juve, and leading up to this year's Road March. We'll bring you the sights and sounds of this year's Carnival live on Channel 5 and streamed on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss Carnival Road March 2022, live on 5.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the split the bill button where he selects the evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Following Thursday's protest outside of the DFC headquarters in Belmopan, the Department of Labor called a meeting between both parties today in Belmopan. The meeting went on for approximately 3 hours. At the end, it was agreed that a second meeting will be held on Monday, this time virtually. The protest and subsequent meeting were prompted by the termination of 3 employees at the institution. Today, when we caught up with the Assistant General Manager of DFC in Belmopan, we learned more about why those employees were let go. We also found out why the Christian Workers Union is vehemently opposed to the terminations. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
Employees of the Development Finance Corporation in Belmopan staged a protest outside of the headquarters on Thursday after 3 colleagues at the institution were terminated. Today, Belisario Carballo, the Assistant General Manager at DFC, explained that 5 persons have been terminated following a restructuring exercise.
We have embarked on a process of informing our employees individually, because part of the restructuring is not just redundancy. Redundancies are an element of the restructuring, but there are other elements of it which in our view are significantly more positive than negative. And so part of what drove the revision was really to streamline processes, to increase efficiency, and to bolster capacity in certain key areas.
Carballo contends that back in June, the details of the restructuring process were presented to the Christian Workers Union, the bargaining agent for these employees. Notwithstanding the disclosure, Mose Hyde, the president of the CWU, puts forward that there is a significant difference of opinions as to how these redundancies should be executed.
The reason why redundancies in the labor law is because it's a legal thing to do, and a union cannot so simply stop a redundancy from taking place. We cannot ensure that it doesn't happen. What the union is there to do is to ensure that in that case, the worst case scenario, which is not a pleasant thing to have happen, is that it's not being done in a way that is not consistent with what is laid out in the Labor Act, and to ensure, and for obvious reasons, you just can't have anybody just cry redundancy at any old time. It has to be done properly.
Carballo explained that the recomposition exercise saw 10 positions being declared redundant. Of the 10 employees, 5 of them were repositioned within DFC. The remaining 5 have received their notices of termination.
The 5 I mentioned is the extent of it. 2 have already been terminated, and that is not really, the timing was determined by them, because when we discussed with them, as I mentioned before, after we disclosed to the union the restructuring approach, this restructuring proposal, we agreed jointly with the union that the next step would have been to engage with the individual members of staff to let them know where they stood and to give priority to those who would have been adversely affected. And so as part of that process of informing staff, 2 members who would have been made redundant opted to be paid immediately. And so those 2 have already been paid about a month or so ago. And so these are the last 3.
New positions were also created at DFC during the reorganization. Some of those posts are yet to be filled. The Assistant General Manager conceded that when all vacant positions are filled, DFC's cost of labor will increase. The expectation, however, is that the new strategy being implemented will also increase productivity.
It has to be done properly. So that's what it is we're involved with, to try to work how it's supposed to be done and also deal with the fact that we have individuals whose lives are being impacted by this and we have to act in their interests.
Has DFC conceded that in fact these redundancies were not declared in accordance with the Labor Act?
All I'll say is that a big part of this is that the union and management have a different view on the matter. We are trying to work it out. I believe that there was some movement forward today. We will hope to add on that and try to find a positive way forward on Monday.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
CWU and DFC have been in negotiations over a revised collective bargaining agreement since July 2021. To date, both parties have not been able to agree on a finalized CBA. So we asked those responsible for the negotiations, what exactly is the cause for the delay? Here are those responses.
We started the negotiations in July 2021, so we are more than a year now into it. And it's a concern for us, and I guess as well for the union. We have been engaged with them throughout this process, going through the process of proposals and counter proposals. The position is that we have presented to the union at this point a counter proposal, which we are expecting a response on. In our view, we have been very reasonable. We have come down by more than 50% from where we initially started in terms of value. It's, like I said, it's more than 50%, and we have added a few things that is not of dollar value, but it certainly adds to the overall enhancement of the proposition. And so we are really expecting that there could be some movement as a result of that revised proposal that we have presented. But it's in the union's court at this point, and we are expecting a response.
This is a process that is simultaneous redundancy, the matter of salary reduction, the matter of the reduction of benefits. This has been an ongoing conversation, negotiation, and obviously the DFC management has its marching orders and its core understandings of what is to be done and how it's supposed to be done, and the union has its own and has its be guided by our membership. And so we are working through those complex issues.
The proposed mining activity in the vicinity of Gales Point Village has been with objections from various quarters, including several members of the Briceño administration. Tourism Minister Anthony Mahler was also asked about the proposed investment by Vulcan Materials Company at White Ridge Farms near Gales Point, Manatee. He says, hell no to Vulcan.
I was the first one to bring it to cabinet because I go to the Gales Point area often. I go to fish in Manatee River and Cebu, and so I go up there. I have some friends up there, and they brought it to my attention many months ago. I brought it to cabinet. If you go back to the house, you will see one of my presentations. I say, hell no to Vulcan. We don't need that type of investment here in this country.
After the break, Minister Karim Musa says no tolerance for rogue cops. We'll have that and more when we come back.
Start your engines now for the National MSME Roadshow, geared towards building the resilience of MSMEs and developing a national MSME directory. Sign up for this 3-day event filled with intensive boot camps, presentations, MSME support and formalization clinics, pop-up shops, and more to help you develop and promote your business. The National MSME Roadshow will be in Carnival starting August 24th, Orinduap August 31st, Belize City September 7th, Punta Gorda September 14th, Key Cocker September 22nd, Belmopan September 28th, San Ignacio and San Helena on October 5th, Dangriga October 12th, Placencia October 19th, and closes in San Pedro from October 26th. Learn more and sign up for the National MSME Roadshow by visiting the Beltrade Facebook page or call or WhatsApp us at 613-5139. And let's get your business on the road.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Everything must come to an end. A much-needed vacation, or even a good book. What about the world? How will it end? Should we be worried about the end? Frightened even? What does the Bible actually say about the end? Tune in right here as we discuss the end.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Man, you really can't get a mannequin for this, man? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
Carnival is back. Back on the streets again, and the best seat in the house is right here on Channel 5. Tune in on Saturday, September 3rd at 1 p.m. to catch our coverage featuring all things Carnival. From the King and Queen competition to mass camps to Juve and leading up to this year's Road March. We'll bring you the sights and sounds of this year's Carnival live on Channel 5 and streamed on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss Carnival Road March 2022 live on 5.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams has gone on record to say that he is disappointed with the outcome of a tribunal in which officers allegedly involved in the landing of a drug plane near Bladen in southern Belize have been acquitted. But rogue officers Corporal Elmer Nah and PC Kalis are not getting off so easily. Compol Williams says that he will review the evidence as presented to the tribunal to see if they had erred in their decision. While due process and due diligence must prevail, Home Affairs Minister Karim Musa says he has zero tolerance for rogue cops.
I believe the charge against Elmer Nah at the tribunal concerned the possession of ammunition, excess amount of ammunition, correct. And there is another police officer, I am told, again, who took the rap, so to speak, to say he is the one who signed out that ammunition. And so I don't want to get into the particulars of the tribunal. I do know that the Commissioner of Police is going to be reviewing the notes of evidence to see that if the adjudicator in any way erred, having heard all the evidence that was put before him. Because from what I understand, again, I would have to check the notes of evidence myself, but the vehicle that the officer Richard was saying that the ammunition was in is not the same vehicle that it was in. It was actually in Mr. Na's vehicle. So those are little things that we have to look at to see if in fact the judge erred in making that decision. It's a matter of justice, Vijay, and we have to ensure at all times that justice is served. So it's not a matter of me being disappointed or not.
Where are we in terms of getting these rogue cops out of the system? I think that has been the issue, that these people are engaged in these criminal activities and they remain in the force.
Yeah, I don't see it as an issue of remaining in the force. If you look at our track record, Dwayne, just in the last 2 years, we have dismissed close to 150 police officers for instances like this. This is not a done deal. I'm telling you that right away when it comes to Officer Na, because we have reports, while some of them not formal, reports that are very concerning and that we have to look at very seriously. And like you said, we cannot continue to tolerate officers who are rogue, whether it is for neglect, whether it is for abuse, or whether it is for corruption. We will not tolerate that, and we have a very proud track record in the last 2 years of dismissing those officers, and we will continue to do so, but we have to do so again with a mind that justice must be served. There is a process.
With the pending retirement of Deputy Commissioner of Police Desiree Magdaleno, there is a shakeup in the Belize Police Department. Aaron Guzman becomes the new Deputy Compol, and Senior Superintendent Hilberta Romero takes over as the new Regional Commander for the Eastern Division, replacing ACP Howell Gillett, who is now making a lateral move to head the Community Policing Unit at the national level. Some are of the impression that it was a demotion for Gillett, but Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa feels otherwise.
Whenever we have senior officers retiring from the department, and in this case we have Deputy Commissioner Magdaleno, who is retiring in the coming weeks, with that vacant post, then there is going to be major shifts within the department. And so we have ACP Howell Gillett, who has been doing a very good job in Belize City as well. One of his big strengths is community policing, and now we'll be moving him up to community policing, to head community policing. ACP Guzman will then be taking on the DCP role. As you know, ACP Guzman was at community policing, but now he's moving up as Deputy Commissioner of Police.
Sir, you said that Gillett is moving up, but isn't this more of a demotion? I mean, going from commanding the biggest formation to community policing.
I would not consider this a demotion by any stretch, Courtney. It's a parallel move. In fact, he's going to head an entire community policing desk, which is for the entire country of Belize. And like I said, that is something that we recognize as one of his strengths, is reaching out to the business community, reaching out to the students, to the schools, and engaging the community. And that is truly one of the big points for us in Plan Belize.
Channel 5's live coverage of the Carnival Road March commences at 1 p.m. on Saturday, and we will be bringing you live coverage of the Bacchanal. But there are those who are concerned about their safety during the festivities. Today, Community Director of the Belize Police Department, Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood, says that the event will be adequately policed.
We have our security heightened. We intend to block every corner along the route. You know, the route will commence from Farbers Road and Central American Boulevard, and we'll take a right into Vernon Street, proceed contrary to the flow of traffic over Bell China Bridge. We will go Douglas Jones into Kelly Street, into Bayman Avenue, and then left into Princess Margaret Drive and Marion Jones Stadium, where we will have the judging of the Carnival groups. We will have the adequate amount of officers along the road, and as well we will have the specialized units that will be patrolling in the, the off roads and off streets that to the Marion Jones Stadium. We intend to have standby units, and we will have everything that we believe we need to assure the general public that they will be safe while watching the carnival.
Today, the Ministry of Tourism handed over 2 pickup trucks to the Tourism Policing Unit and the National Institute of Culture and History. Back in August, vehicles were donated to the Belize Defense Force, and TPU had also received motorcycles and bicycles. The value of the donation is $130,000. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
The Ministry of Tourism made another donation of vehicles, this time to the Tourism Policing Unit and NICH. Tourism Minister Anthony Mauler speaks about the importance of this partnership.
We've always had good relationships with both the security services, with our BDF or police department, and we've also had a good working relationship with the NICH and the Institute of Archaeology. And so to ensure that they can carry out their roles and responsibilities in a more efficient way, we saw the need for some investment in some vehicles.
Home Affairs Minister Karim Musa says that the vehicle will be utilized in Belize City for the security of cruise ship passengers.
We have to keep our tourism product valuable at all times. And our tourism police unit is a specialized unit that is tasked with that very important job of securing the tourists whenever they visit our shores. And so today we are extremely grateful to the Ministry of Tourism, the Minister, Honorable Anthony Mauler, for this very kind donation of a vehicle for the tourism police unit, which will be utilized on the streets of Belize City for the cruise passengers that visit our shores every week.
Within the next few months, more vehicles will be donated.
Some additional vehicles are going to come, but like I said, we have supply chain issues, and so the vehicles are slower in coming than we would want it to be. But within the next couple of months, we should have all the vehicles in. We should get some UTVs, as they call, and we will continue to ensure that the security forces and the Institute of Archaeology, both entities, have the necessary resources to carry out their functions properly.
We do expect to receive more shortly. We had a donation of motorcycles and bicycles the other day, and so it's continuously we're getting donations, and we are investing as a police department in 20 more vehicles, some of which will be utilized by the TPU as well in the coming months. There was a tender late last year, but as the minister mentioned, there are sourcing issues with motor vehicles. All the manufacturers are having difficulty sourcing the vehicles, but we should be getting 5 of the 20 this week.
The donation is valued at $130,000. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
When we return, eCash celebrates its first anniversary with an expo. But first, here is the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Valiant and bold, proud and strong. Oh, Belize, we bounce at 41. Yes, we rebound at 41. Everything nice again. Everything okay again. We building strength back again. Economy rolling again. Cause we smart and we brilliant. And we people resilient. Cause we're all significant. So let we try and dance cause we relevant. Todavía estamos representando. Manteniendo viva la cultura, valiente y ahora orgulloso y fuerte, rebotes de Belice a los 41.
We party, we celebrate, we give thanks for freedom. We independent for life, we independent for life. We party, we celebrate, we give thanks for freedom. We independent for life. Belize rebounds at 41.
To the Coxcomb Peak, from Corozal down to PG. Mr. We bold and strong, we 41 and a sovereign nation. Mr. We setting the foundation, right there so, for the younger ones. We help building each other solid and strong with healthy minds, firm education. We valiant and bold, proud and strong. Oh, Belize, we rebound at 41. Yes, we rebound at 41. We valiant and bold, proud and strong. Oh, Belize, we rebound at 41. Yes, we rebound at 41. Happy independence, yeah.
Carnival is back. Back on the streets again, and the best seat in the house is right here on Channel 5. Tune in on Saturday, September 3rd at 1 p.m. to catch our coverage featuring all things Carnival. From the King and Queen competition to mass camps to Juve and leading up to this year's Road March. We'll bring you the sights and sounds of this year's Carnival live on Channel 5 and streamed on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss Carnival Road March 2022 live on 5.
Today, the Belize Bank's digital payments and collections app, eCash, celebrated its first anniversary with mini expos at the bank's branches throughout the country. The celebration will take place every Friday for the next couple weeks at the bank's locations to allow their customer merchants to display and sell their products. News 5's Marian Ali visited the booths that were at the Belize Bank Market Square today and spoke with the business owners. Here's that report.
It's the first anniversary of Belize Bank's eCash digital wallet. And for today and every Friday that the expos are held, people who use eCash to purchase from the businesses that set up at the bank's location are refunded 50% of their purchase as one of the promotions that the bank is offering. All that paying customers need to do is open their eCash app and scan the QR code on display by the businesses using the free Wi-Fi that is provided at the booths. The business owners who were present today shared their reasons why they like the eCash method of doing business, and their reasons are wide-ranging.
I really love eCash. It's really fast, it's really convenient. You don't have to take cash around with you. It's great for my customers. I could just send them a payment link and they can just make their payment right away and I receive it in a matter of seconds.
No, a lot of people don't walk around with cash, especially right now how a lot of people are being robbed and stuff like that. So eCash is very useful, I would say. I mean, people go forget keys, forget wallets, but who forgets their phone, right? So grab your phone. Once the app depends on your phone, I think they're a really convenient app to use.
As a small business, change is the problem. So no money, no problem. That's the eCash motto, you know, because you don't have to scramble for change or anything like that. And it's very easy because you're not transmitting physical cash with this whole COVID situation, you know.
Very convenient for my customers. They just scan a payment link and, you know, that's it. As they send the payment link, I can log in, check my account, and it's there.
I'm currently encouraging all my customers to get eCash because it's quite convenient, and I prefer eCash actually over regular cash. This new era, there is a lot of people who is actually adding it on to now. So,
eCash, we know that it's something fast and easy for our customers. We don't have to come up with change actually at the restaurant, so that's a plus. And at the same time, our customers can be at home and say, you know what, I'm gonna transfer the payment and we send their food via delivery. All you have to do is scan that code and we receive the funds. Immediately it pops up on our phone. So it's pretty much simple and efficient, no germs.
People who purchase from any one of the participating businesses today were also entered into a raffle to win a weekend stay at Calico Jack's Resort and Adventure Park. That raffle will be drawn in mid-September at the end of the expos. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
Activist Moses Self was making his rounds today, but it was not to bash the government or plan a protest. This time, he was donating face masks and stationeries to students attending two of Belize City's secondary schools. News 5 caught up with him at Excelsior High School today with gifts from Hands of Mercy Charity Foundation based in the U.S. While there was not enough to spread among all 10 of the city's high schools, Self said that in the future, students at those other institutions who are in need can expect to receive as well.
Donation today is 132 masks to the school for a number of 44 kids. And the donation came from Miss Gaynor Martinez in the U.S., a Belizean American who have donated shoes and all those things in the past. Each of these masks costs about $19.50 for the pack, U.S., so it's roughly about over $800 in donation here. We also be giving pencil, and those pencils are donated by Arborist Corner Childhood Cancer, and pens and markers and folder sheets and a few other items that will folder sheet and typing sheets. The selection process for us is just needy kids. And since we don't have an abundance, we just had to choose 2 schools for now out of the 10. So that was basically it. We decided to choose one over here that is, we know most kids that go to these 2 schools are not as financially fortunate as some of the other schools. So we just had to choose based on the fact that these are needy students, and since we don't have a great amount to give everybody, then we had to just choose 2 schools, and in the future we'll be doing other 2 schools and other 3 schools and other schools on the south side as well. I'm doing this so that those who have donated can see where their stuff is also going.
Self invites more people to donate to the charitable cause so that more students can benefit. He shares his contact information for people and businesses who want to help.
We're in an economy whereby there's a lot of children in need, school kids, so I'm reaching out to more Belizean American and even local Belizean to kindly donate. And you can reach me on Facebook, Moses Self, or Hands of Mercy Charity Foundation, or my number is 667 4151.
Just ahead, tumblers are a perennial in Carnival Road March.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marion Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 police teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 believes on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
This week's On the Bright Side took Sabrina Daly to the preparation of the 2022 Carnival Road March. After a 2-year hiatus, the only people more excited than the loyal spectators are the participants in the parade. And where the revelers have secured their fans, so have a crowd favorite, the tumblers. Sabrina visited one of their last training sessions at the Rogers Stadium in Belize City.
Carnival fanatics would know that the excitement of the Road March is not only because of the colors and energy of the revelers. One key element of the parade is also the tumblers. They are the closing act of the Road March and are considered fan favorites because of the daring flips, twists, and turns they make mid-air. The Carnival acrobats have been around as far back as the 70s. And this year, they are eager to showcase their latest act.
Everybody should be out there expect the tumblers because we don't miss one beat from 2019. COVID never did throw away after nothing. We stay ready every year. First thing we do is start work out for Carnival. Every time anybody beat my Rastren, when we start work out, Rastren, when we start work out. I tell them, well, when you come work out, then I can't work out by myself. So when you come with our group, so, you know, but they expect the same kind of excitement come Carnival. You know, we don't lose no touch when it comes to tumbling. Maybe I might lose my little touch because I'm there at my height, but no, I did on the mountain. Yeah?
Ras Jan is one of the founding members of the Carnival Tumblers. After 4 decades of being in the spotlight, the retired gymnast is now using his energy to teach the younger generation the sport.
If you drop on a roll, once you overspin on a roll, right? Let's go. We teach. So, well, I say like 75% of the youth there, during my era, enough of them come at least know if you do a lead thing. 25% of them would not know if you do nothing. So me and my body, even if he know the wrong or even if I know the wrong, we teach them the bending, the basics about it. We're supposed to practice from June, July, August to September, but so and then come July, so and then come August. So and then come even 1 week or 2 before Carnival. Why? Because they want uniform and they don't know. We don't want to deny them regardless of what. We don't want to deny them the uniform because we know putting on one tumbler's uniform will give respect.
I can't see a Carnival without the tumblers. The tumblers have been in Carnival from I know myself. And yes, they are not you may say they are not an official group in Carnival, but I would say they are because they are in every year. And just like how people look forward to see these revelers, they look forward for the tumblers. And every year, the tumblers do have a spot in Carnival, and they always ask for the last spot, you know, because they want to do their thing and entertain the crowd just as the revelers.
The love of the sport is innate, describes emerging captain Glenford Dugal, son of tumbler stalwart John Dugal. He'll be leading 30-plus kids from as young as 7 years old and promises us a great show.
I love the sport because that was inspiring sport. And once everybody see the sport, everybody will want to join the sport. And then most of me love the sport because, I don't know, I just say in my blood. So, my time to shine, show what my pa told me, and bring it out. Remember when I count to 3? 1, 2, 3. Done? Most of the parade, I'll lead the group, but some part I will give them the opportunity to just freestyle. Be who they are, show the people that for their talent, how they put it in for their picture. And then we strategy and how we are doing it, yeah, kind of simple. No lot of hustle, no lot of hard formation. But then how we put it out, we'll get everybody a nice show. 2, 3, Alex.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Annalyn Apollonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.